Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. What's going on, Jeromes? Thank you very much for making the live stream part of your day. We're here every single friggin' day. Weekday at 11 a.m. Central Time, which is the proper time zone, but whatever. We're a couple minutes late. We were doing up a video reviewing Rick Spielman's Vikings draft history, and it was really fun going back through. Oh, Rick Spielman always likes the 7th round picks, and we review is like, oh, some are hits, some maybe not so much, but also some we were derelict in our duty. Was that we should have looked back at Spielman's Dolphins draft history, because so Spielman was with the Dolphins for 5 years. From 2000 2001, he was VP of Player Personnel, which, again, all these various titles. Are you the one making the picks? That's what really matters most. Also, from 02 to 03, he was Senior VP of Football Operations. In 2004, his final year in Miami was his year as the official general manager of the Vikes. So he's got that going on for him, which is great. 2000 to 2004 were the picks here. So just reviewing these real quick. So, also Rob Conrad, so fullback tight end from Syracuse. He was the one who fell off the boat in Miami, and then people questioned his story about falling off of a boat. Anyways, look that up. It's a good time. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. Shout out to everyone as well watching on demand. So it is kind of tough. I don't know why they didn't have a first round pick. Don't feel like looking it up right now either. But it is tough for me to have a full on draft where I don't recognize a single name. Like, who is Todd Wade? Todd Wade apparently played a 99 career games, so he had himself a decent career, probably with the Dolphins. Let's look him up. So again, going down the PFR rabbit hole. So we're doing this. We're going to get to Q&A. Also, the question of the day we put up to you guys is compare Kirk Cousins to a food. So we'll get some answers from the live chat, as well as we'll get some from the Q&A as well. All right, so a couple seasons in. All right, so he ended up with the Texans. That's right. There you go. Todd Wade. There you go. Next up. So Jamar Fletcher, who's a cornerback. I believe he's from Wisconsin. Not so much. Chris. Maybe. Actually, where is he from? Wisconsin. So Rick showed off his true colors shining through, because he went back to back. Chris Chambers, was he a Badger? I thought that he was. Yeah. All right. So both of them are Badgers. So Rick just goes back to back Wisconsin players, and they're not even good ones. I mean, what happened here? Travis Minor, Moreland Greenwood. Greenwood was legit for a hot second. Also, Josh Heupel. Remember, like that Oklahoma national title team where they beat Florida State like 14-2 or something like that. But Josh Heupel was a bad man back in the day. Like, you could tell he was going to be a very good college quarterback. He wasn't going to be anything in the NFL, but man, he was legit on some of those teams. Like, Julio Iglesias was the receiver. Rocky Kalmus was a linebacker for them. They had they're really fun scat back. They had a really fun scap. All right, so 2000, and again, if you're new to the live stream, this is exactly what happens. We got sports. We go down rabbit holes. 2000 Oklahoma Sooners. There you go. Because they had this really fun, Quentin Griffin. Yeah. Quentin Griffin. And then eventually he had a cup of coffee with the Nate Hibble was. Yeah, Quentin Griffin. Here you go. Josh Norman? No. Josh Norman, the running back. Okay. I was going to say, what? What's in there? So, Quentin Griffin had a cup of coffee with the Broncos. But yeah, he was like 5'2", 30 pounds. And he ran for 1,884 yards. What? 6.6 yards per carry. What is happening? What is going on? So now we get a picture of Quentin Griffin. Yeah, get some. I mean, look at this. There you go. Quentin Griffin was like diet right Barry Sanders. Like, if Barry Sanders is Coca-Cola, Quentin Griffin was complete diet right Barry Sanders. I mean, look at this dude. Look at him. There you go. All right. What were we talking about? Spielman Dolphins draft history. And so that was the Josh Heupel tangent. So 03, 02, 03. Seth McKinney, decent center, I believe Texas A&M. Randy McMichael was a thing for a hot second. 2003, and so Wade Smith, a couple of decent years there with the Dolphins. Donald Lee, the tight end, spent. Jeremiah Bell was here. Ooh, shoot. All right, and then lastly, so his last draft as the official GM of the Dolphins. So Vernon Carey. Solid tackle for a hot second. Yeah, but Spielman ignores the offensive line, even though he drafted like 9 million offensive linemen for the Dolphins. Maybe he got that out of his system, but yeah, not so much. Anyways, so that's Spielman. That's the addendum. We're uploading that video. It will be up during this, so there you go. Again, thanks for coming in. Thanks for checking out the live stream. We got some Q&As. We got some hot Quentin Griffin talk as well. Should be a good time. So let's dive into. We have a lot of them today. Eventually, this will load. One time. Fine. So how's your week going, everyone? Hope it's going well. Quarantine day 27, or quarantine, depending where you are in the country. That's fine. Basically, life hasn't really changed except we just can't go to the zoo, which is unfortunate because the daughter loves the zoo. Just love getting outside and trying to enjoy this Minnesota beautiful weather. Even though, so it's sunny now. It was sunny 30 minutes ago, but 15 minutes ago, it was a full-on like snow blizzard, like snow nami going on. It happens. Kyle Rippentrop. Falcons got New Jersey's win with the Vikings. I don't mind the Vikings uniforms right now. They changed them a couple years ago. I like the matte helmets. I like the relatively clean look. I mean, the font numbers with the numbers have horns on them. It's kind of like feh to me. I say feh. Let's see. So live stream right now. It is buffering because for some reason we're having some technical difficulties. But thanks for sticking out. Actually, let me refresh this. Actually, might be good. Almost heaven, West Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountains. Shit. If you guys have seen Kingsman, so the sequel, where Merlin just goes out, he stepped on a landmine, and he goes out singing, "Country roads take me home to the place I belong." All right, so why are we not getting? God, it's a little bit annoying. So there you go. So thanks for sticking out on the live stream. For some reason today it's being a little bit choppy, but so is life. Kirk Cousins is like the gold they put on top of food at expensive restaurants. Yeah, I like how they look. This is the world's most expensive pizza, and all it is like a normal pizza with like caviar and gold on top, or like the world's most expensive ice cream sundae, which gets a little annoying, but probably doesn't taste as good, but it's the most expensive part. I think that's fair. I think it's a good comp. All Day 28. I would compare Kirk Cousins to Sour Patch Kids. Sometimes they're sweet. White dad driving a van and grilling, but suddenly he'll turn to a fiery sour man as he torches NFC East secondaries and eliminates the Saints from the playoffs as he shouts the three unspeakable words. I mean, that's fair. Or, you guys remember Warheads? I feel like Cousins could be like a decent warhead there, where it's where super sour, like amazing, overly powered at times, and all of a sudden gets really sweet once you get past the sour. Maybe that's it. William Ruby Hernandez. Don't you think that putting Reef at guard is just another more expensive Mike Remmers at guard? Well, not necessarily. I actually think that Reef would move into guard a lot better. I think he's got a better anchor. I think he'd have more success inside. I think Remmers is a little bit too upright, as well as didn't have as good of an anchor. So I think that was just meant to fail with moving Remmers inside. So also, I don't want to be scared off of potentially moving Reef inside just because it didn't work with Remmers, because I mean the two situations are completely different because they're two different people. Who knew? No Irons. Kirk is like mild queso. He's about as bland as it gets. He's about as bland as it gets. He's about as bland as it gets. But control. All these a solid option. You have to wonder if he's really worth the price tag. Oh yeah, like go to. Like with these faux higher end Mexican places, and you get the house queso. It's like $9, and it's not that great. It's just got like a little thing. Yeah, this thing was microwave. Bitch, this thing was microwave. But yeah. So we can solve the streaming issue here. I do wonder what's going on. Maybe we should just pause. Let the buffer catch up. Because of course, like everyone's on the internet right now, like streaming Netflix on 9 different devices. So you can tell like the ISPs are just getting hammered, are just getting destroyed right now. It's all right. This will allow me to put the finishing touches on the Spielman video. Oh, so the question will put out to live chat once it gets caught up due to streaming buffering. What is your go-to karaoke song? All right, you're up at karaoke. You've had a couple. What's your karaoke song? Because for me, I mean, it's probably just something cliche like "Sweet Caroline's" really good. A song that everyone knows, that everyone can get into. So like "Sweet Caroline," "Living on a Prayer," certainly up there too. If you just want to joke, if you just want to have fun, go request the song "Tequila" at karaoke, where it's the song and then you also know that there's only one word in the entire song. Tequila. There you go. Like it flicks back and forth between Tequila. All right, come on. All right, we'll get that in a sec. Next question. JD Mac, can you do a mock draft video but control the Bungles and see what happens if they take 201 or what the Vikings do if they trade? Yeah, well, we could do that. I'm sure there's a couple weeks before the draft anyway. And hell, the draft might even be delayed. I like all the ideas. Like Dave Gettleman is going to be selected on the draft on Skype. Like everyone's freaking out about the technology. It's like, oh, what if this technology fails? What about the phone, bitch? What about the phone? Like TV cameras will be there. You know who will be picked. If you want to get your pick in, it doesn't have to be anything overly technical. Like you don't have to do something like completely matching up on Zoom. Just call. Landline, son. Shoot. Abza Abdi, what quality is Tyler Johnson missing? Well, the fact that he didn't run at the combine because he knew that his times were going to be messed up. Like, he's not the fastest, he's not the quickest guy in the world, but he just plays the position well. And it just comes down to, can a guy actually play? And I think teams are really going to overthink Tyler Johnson, and that's going to be huge value for wherever he ends up. Probably 3rd, 4th round. It's sort of like Chris Godwin coming out of Penn State a couple years ago. Like, he fell because teams overthought Chris Godwin, right? So I think with Tyler Johnson that it's unfortunate. It's going to hurt his draft stock. It's a deep wide receiver class. That certainly doesn't help either. But, I mean, he is just a friggin' stud. An absolute friggin' stud. Next up is Amaya Deshpande. Kirk Cousins is lobster. Sometimes you get really good lobster and you're fully satisfied, but sometimes you're extremely disappointed with his quality and you bash the place that served it because you overpaid. I think that's fair. Starting to like AJ Terrell more and more. Where does he rank on your cornerback list? So for me, Terrell. All right, so pretty clearly it's Okudah, it's Henderson. I would put Fulton at 3. I put Terrell in the Gladney, Trevon Diggs, even though it's not going to work out here. Gladney, Jalen Johnson, Terrell, sort of strata, sort of in there. Eric Normal. In fact, if in fact indeed there is a 2020 NFL season, do you think the Vikings will have more wins than losses? Yes. 11-5, staying alive, win the North, do some damage in the playoffs. Let's go. David Bryant. Kirk Cousins kind of like Sour Patch Kids. Rotate sour and sweet. Yeah, good call. I like that one. Sam Maros. Who do you think on the Vikings will have the best season? Is Mike Zimmer losing his locker room or his job first? Well, I think he loses the locker room, then he loses the job, which I think that locker room may be teetering because, the whole not getting the psychodynamics of things. And yes, football players, athletes generally are not like the cliched millennials, but I mean, younger people growing up, sometimes they don't like being talked down to by my gruff authoritarian people like Mike Zimmer, which he has adjusted, sure, but yeah. Who do you think of the Vikings have the best season? I want Delvin to run for 2,000 yards, break the single season record, and then just run off into the sunset. Just like, Delvin, how much money do you want? All of it. All of it. Just because, I mean, the Vikings are a backwards team to begin with. I mean, they're trying to build a run-first offense in a passing league. And plus, us Vikings fans, we're used to worshiping the running back position anyway. Because, like, oh, Herschel Walker. Oh, there we go. Let's pay Adrian Peterson quarterback money. Oh, how come Adrian Peterson never won a playoff game without Brett Favre? Oh, because he never had a quarterback. Exactly. So quarterback league. Just because why not? I actually think Daniil Hunter is going to have 18 sacks. So there you go. White Wolf. Oh, there we go. I think the stream. All right. The stream is back up. Love you guys. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple of shout outs here in a hot second. White Wolf. Keep seeing Higgins mocked to us in the first. Going to put this on the universe that I don't want the Vikings to pick up a big body receiver early. Let's take a different route this one time. Well, I feel like it's a disservice to Higgins just to lump him in with Laquan Treadwell just because that didn't work out. A big body receiver at the back end of the first round. I think Higgins does bring a lot of skill to the table. He's got a monster catch radius, and if you want to compare him to Nuke or some of the other great Clemson receivers, I wouldn't be like overly upset, I guess. But even though it's not a great one-on-one comparison, but I don't think Higgins should be punished for the sins of Laquan Treadwell not working out. But even though it is one of the main reasons why I'm like Pittman Jr. Isaac Rupright. Do you think Mims is a perfect fit for the Vikings? His favorite team is the Vikings, and I think he has a good demeanor and attitude. Plus, he's a tall receiver. Kirk. I like Mims. Besides Ruggs, I mean, Mims probably benefit, besides Ruggs and Claypool, Mims probably benefit the most from having a great combine. You do have some concerns about the hands, and also you do have to take the Big 12 video game numbers with a grain of salt, although I do think he is a more complete receiver and than a lot of people give him credit for, as well as the Baylor Art Briles spread system. Those days sort of went away with Matt Rule, so it is he did run more of a complete NFL route tree than he's probably given credit for. But I like Mims. If he's there at 22-25, I wouldn't be necessarily upset if he's the pick. Overall, I like him. So next up, Isaac I read that one. Nailed it. Landon Miller. What happened to Chad Beebe? Well, he got hurt. And also, all right, so I like stories like Chad Beebe. I'm rooting for him to succeed, except I'm just really not betting on it, right? And I do have issue a bit. I do have issue a bit because if Chad Beebe's last name was Hezekiah or Johnson and his dad wasn't Don friggin' Beebe, I don't think he would have even gotten an NFL tryout. I really don't. And because you look at his time at Northern Illinois, he wasn't overly productive, had injury concerns. He almost retired due to injury concerns. Of course, those are cropping up all over the place. And once he got a shot here with the Vikings, he missed time with injury in his first training camp. He looked good in practice. Eventually was called up, had a couple of splash plays against Detroit as a rookie year. That long catch and run against the Packers last season. But I just don't see it. Like, obviously, you want to root for Mighty Mouse, but will Zettel move into 3-tech, or will he battle Fadi for the left end spot? I think Zettel's going to be a jack of all trades. I think he'll play a little bit of edge. I think he'll, frankly, I think he's better utilized inside as a sub package 3-tech or defensive tackle. Because if you go back and watch his Penn State tape, that's where he was wrecking fools. 2017 he had a very solid season. Detroit 7.5 sacks, all that stuff. But I think he's going to be used all over the place. I think he's one of the more underrated signings. Like, everyone talks up Tajay Sharp for good reason, but I think Zettel sneakily could be one of the better free agent signings this offseason. Kirk Cousins like Chipotle. It's expensive and it tastes really good at first, but then two-thirds of the way through it starts getting really bad. Yeah, I can go with that. John Janikowski. Let's call him John Jaworski. Skull Productions, $2 in the super chat. I like Mims, but he gives me Treadwell vibes. Mims is way better athlete than Treadwell. So when are the Vikings going to trade for Trent Williams? It's going to be the draft. If the Vikings trade Anthony Harris, if they trade for Trent Williams, it's going to be during the draft. Gamer 15. What's the most gruesome sports injury you've ever seen? I just saw Kevin Ware injury. So, funny Kevin Ware story. Well, not really funny, but watching the tournament that year, we were, I forget where we were, but it was during one of the early rounds, and the game's on. It was on mute, and for some reason, I just decided to look up at the game because the injury took place at top of the screen, top of the court that side, and I just look up, and then you see Kevin Ware from Louisville basketball, ended up transferring to like Georgia State, I want to say, but whatever. And then Kevin Ware just like his leg just like folded over. It was like what is happening? And it was just like one of those visuals, like because I'm kind of weird. Like I can handle blood and guts and gore and all that stuff, but just like appendages or limbs moving in directions they should not, that really irks me for some reason. I just can't do that. Let's see what else people said. Oh, that was awful. There you go. What do you value more when drafting a guy, his game film or how he performed at the combine? Film for sure. And I feel what you should do at the combine is that just check boxes. Like, is this person relatively fast enough, relatively quick enough, relatively explosive enough, all agility strong enough, etc. Like, bench is not the perfect measure of overall strength, especially for offensive linemen. Like the vertical jumps, the broad jump, not exactly the best measure for explosiveness, or the 3-cone short shuttle for agility, or the 40 for game speed, frankly. So I always give credence to game film. Like, if a player has marginal stats, marginal film, but suddenly blows up the combine, I'm very, very wary. Even though GMs and coaches always have this, very cocky attitudes, like, hey, it must have been the coaching, must have been the scheme. Mom, I can change him, do all that stuff. But I mean, just give me guys who can play. Yeah, that's all. Eric Normal, Cousins is milk/toast, milk toast. I get it. Charlie Mullins. Would you rather double down on wide receivers, O-line, or corners in the first round, given the fact that top talent is still available? That's a good question. So you have to double down on one of the positions. I would probably go O-line if, say, you got Josh Jones and Ezra Cleveland. Yeah. Or cornerbacks. Say if it's like C.J. Henderson and Christian Fulton, or Christian Fulton, Jeff Gladney. I'd actually go cornerback. Fulton and Gladney. Damn, that's really sexy. That's really good. And wide receivers, you'd have Mims and like Higgins, Mims and Chenault, Mims and Ayuk. Kirk is an oyster. When he's good, is very good. When it's bad, he kills you. That's a good one. That might be my favorite so far. That's completely true. All right, so shout outs. We got Skull Productions, Gilroy, California. Mitchell Johnson, Rochester, Med City. Shout out. Billy Long, Hannibal, Missouri. Big shout out to Mark Twain. Richard. Logan DeGraff. Skull from Ripon, California. Max Macro, Kansas. Carry on my wayward son. Isaiah Hansen, Elgin, Illinois. What's going on? Is that where they make the trucks? Just put out random non sequiturs. Jay Ramos, Skull from South Jersey, without Jersey Shore. Let's see here. All right, so there you go. Shout outs to you guys. Thank you for turning in on the live stream. And I think we got the stream fixed. I actually think we got it fixed, but it's so weird. So the stream was slow when I was not uploading anything, but now that I'm uploading this 30-minute Rick Spielman, god damn it, this 30-minute Rick Spielman video, now the connection is excellent. So I don't know what is going on there. But yeah, the karaoke songs, I saw it's Rain Men, Hararura. It's Rain Men. I don't know what it is with Asians and karaoke though, because there's a really phenomenal Korean restaurant that we like to go to, South Metro. It's Egan, called Hoban, here in the Twin Cities, and it's attached, like not next to. It is actually attached, and I think the owners own both, a karaoke bar. It's phenomenal. Like they have the little rooms where you have your individual karaoke stands, and you just get after it. I mean, it's really a lot of fun. It's fun for me. But yeah, just Asian culture and drinking and singing and having a good time. That's how we roll, babe. All right, so sorry, just clicking and just getting this video uploaded. There we go. All right, so we're back. Next up is Zach Hazley. Kirk Cousins likes spaghetti. He's a really solid option. Can be amazing at times, but if you have too much of it, you can get bland and boring. Yeah, I feel like Mitch Hedberg, Pride of St. Paul, R.I.P. He had a great anecdote about pancakes. Like the first bite's amazing. Halfway through, you're sick of them. Where it's like if it's the same flavor and texture like all the way through, just in large amounts, sometimes it can certainly get cumbersome. But yeah, spaghetti's like that too. Same thing with pancakes. Same thing with Chipotle burritos, by the way. Yeah. Abza Abdi. I like having 2 first-round picks, but after that, there's a huge drop-off between 25 and the second-round pick. Should the Vikings really wait till the draft to stack up? Wait till the draft to stack up. I don't understand the question. T-Rag, I wasn't committed to Kirk until this season. Starting to think he may be a top 10 QB. Is he pretty much Drew Brees just without the Super Bowl yet? Well, a couple factors went into Drew Brees, right? So could you say a supporting cast, coaching in San Diego? Certainly to a degree, even though he did have LaDainian freaking Tomlinson, right? But also Brees with that shoulder was one of the big factors that really ended things for him. Because that labrum, so he was a second-round pick the year that LaDainian Tomlinson was the Chargers' first-round pick. So they were tied together for a while. After his rookie deal expired, they decided, all right, we're going to take Phillip Rivers. Well, we're going to take Eli Manning, and then we're going to trade for Phillip Rivers because somehow they still ended up with the number 1 overall pick. So you have a quarterback rookie deal who you think is still pretty good, but you still end up with the number 1 overall pick. And then they're like, okay. And then Brees tears his labrum in his I almost said labia, in his contract year, which obviously the writing's on the wall. Rivers was sitting behind him, wasn't going to be long for this job. So tanked his free agent market, was able to get surgery. He was fine, he's good to go. Chose between Miami and the Saints, and then just sort of worked out. Now, I think he is very much the exception as opposed to a rule. Although you have seen it before where quarterbacks don't work out one place, and then they work out down the line just where everything clicks. Go like Jim Plunkett, who was a first-round pick, I believe, of the Patriots. Then he won multiple Super Bowls with the Raiders. You go with Rich Gannon, where he came in, he bounced around the league for a little bit. He was with the Vikings for a hot second as well. Then eventually he was 2002 league MVP. What the hell is happening, right? Rich Gannon might be the completely out of nowhere league MVP. Actually, let's look that up. Also, yeah, shout out to Skinny Ivory, longtime OG, skull from North St. Paul. What's going on? So here, Wiki NFL MVPs. It's all going to be quarterbacks, except for Adrian in 2012. Representing. Shoot. All right, let's start. 80s Brian Sipe. Yeah, Brian Sipe was a bad MFer, by the way. Like Brian Sipe in terms of like the gritty kitties, the cardiac kids with the Browns was legit. Also, people forget that the Bengals had MVP, Ken Anderson. Pretty legit. Took him to a couple of Super Bowls, didn't quite work out. The strike season, Mark Mosley was the kicker. MVP, because sure. 83 Dickerson, 84 Marino. Lawrence Taylor, defensive player, just winning it, no big deal. Elway, a couple times. Boomer. The Bengals, I think it's because of the 90s Bengals, where it just did not work out with Achilles Smith and David Klingler and Jeff Blake, even though Jeff Blake was pretty damn freaking legit, right? They just ruined quarterbacks. But, I mean, look at this. Within a decade, they had two separate MVPs at quarterback. I mean, Boomer, Maryland, Heaturp, as well as Ken Anderson. Also, Kenny Anderson, the leftovers of the Bill Walsh system in Cincinnati. Sam Weish, RIP, doing great things there. It's here. Montana twice, Thurman Thomas, Steve Young, Emmett, Steve Young twice. Second time, 94, the Niners won Super Bowl. Brett Favre, Bert Favre, back-to-back Jack. Packers won Super Bowl in 96. Brett Favre won the Super Bowl in 96. Barry, Terrell Davis, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner twice. Yeah, I guess you could say Kurt Warner because, I mean, he's the high V bad guy. And then he's league MVP, leading the Greg Show on turf. That's up there, too. Rich Gannon in 2002. Like we said, Rich Gannon was a full-on journeyman. Hold on. There's a PFR. and then he hooks up with Chucky, and then Bill Callahan's West Coast offense, and then it just clicks, right? All right, so he was a 4th-round pick in '87 by the Patriots. Ended up with the Vikings in a swappy swap or something. Eventually starts for a hot second for the Vikes, not so much. Goes to Washington, goes to Kansas City as looks like a primary backup there. Eventually ends up in Oakland. Was a multi-year starter. Oh, he was a 2-time All-Pro. Yeah, no, I forgot about that. Yeah, he was a league MVP at 37. What is happening? All right, then McNair, Peyton Manning 04. Should have been Dante Culpepper 04, by the way. Suck it. We talked about Sean Alexander, league MVP, then out in like 27 games, which whatever. I forgot the Cam won MVP. It's weird. All right, anyways, back to this. Torn labia. So next up is Kalen. Max Kallenberg. Kirk is like a burger. It's at times overrated, sometimes very underrated, and tastes like one of the best foods, but usually is just a basic solid barbecue party meal. Well, it would have to be like a burger that you get at the airport, like a Burger King burger at the airport, where and Burger King, in terms of like chain fast food places go, it's okay, right? It's better than average. Or there's not many Wendy's in airports, whatever. So Burger King burger, but also since that airport, you have to pay $12 for it. That's Kirk Cousins. Christopher Cole. What's with the MJD Mach 2.0? Herbert and 1 is serious or just going for actions? Well, this is the time of year where there's nothing else going on. So I feel like movement in terms of the mock drafts is just for, all right, this is different, because there's really no reason for mock draft 3.0 to be different than mock draft 4.0, unless there's leaks. But of course, how much credence you put into leaks of information that teams intentionally want to get out there, right? So you have to do crazy things, right? You have to just Justin Herbert's going to go 1 overall now. MJD mock draft 2.0, just for clicks, just to keep it fresh, right? It's like your MJD, Justin Herbert 1. All right, so what is the rationale here? An AFC North style quarterback. Okay, so he's tall, he's got a big arm, with a big frame and strong arm to lead the Bengals in bad weather late in the season. Okay, so his reasoning isn't terrible, but also I don't see them going any other route than either drafting Burrow or ransoming off that number 1 pick, because I think they can get Herbert much later in the draft. 2, and yeah, he has trades in here too. All right, so 2 Chargers go up to get Tua. That's fine. Chase Young, Derek Brown. Burrow at 5, man. If the Dolphins are able to just sit here, watch the world burn in front of them, and then still end up a Burrow at 5, man. Or Washington train down to 6, and they get Isaiah Simmons. Jeez Louise, take a look at these. And like we said, we love that Jacksonville and Arizona and Carolina can just sit here and like, oh, here's Okudah. Oh, here's Wills. Oh, here's Kinlaw. Oh, worse ends up at 10. Becton at 11. Okay. And then the run on wide receivers, Judy Ruggs. Andrew Thomas goes to the Bucks at 14. That's a hell of a get for the Bucks. Really is. CeeDee Lamb ends up with the Broncos. CJ Henderson. Okay. Jason. Austin Jackson. All right. So not only do the Dolphins get Joe Burrow at 5 without having to trade up, they get Austin Jackson at 18, which is okay, decent. I would prefer Josh Jones, but yeah. Patrick Queen to the Niners. All right, Fulton, 22. Understand that. Respect it. Jalen Hurts. Oh, Jalen Hurts? Like, I fully understand that Saban and Belichick are like this, but Hurts in the first round? Yeah. And, of course, the Vikings get gross matters. I bet you said 7 about Everson. With Everson, Griffin, Tesson, Frazier. There you go. Josh Jones. I mean, take Gross Matos when Josh Jones is on the board. I don't know. I like even Blacklock. And still a first-round running back that's not Swift. Actually, no. He's got 3 running backs in the first round because he's MJD. So Swift, Taylor, and Allaire get into the first round. I don't see that, though. But, yeah. I love MJD, though. Pocket Hercules. I mean, Pocket Hercules might be one of the greatest nicknames of all time. Second to Doug Martin's Muscle Hamster. And it's even better because apparently Doug Martin hated that nickname. It's just funny to me. Abza Abdi, what would be the perfect food to eat while watching the draft? Bleach nuggets. Brian Niaz, Kirk Cousins is a sub-11 beef patty, unextraordinary, more or less subpar, but usually gets the job done. That's fair, but expensive. Max McElroy, Kirk Cousins is a hot dog. Somebody who tastes like he cooked in a microwave. Sometimes it's grilled to perfection. That's fair. Like, there's something to be said about simple foods that are done extremely well. Like a hot dog, you get the bun where slightly steamed, slightly a little bit soft. You get little textures in there. You got the mustard, you got the onions. You can go relish, you can go kraut, you can do whatever you want. If you want to put ketchup, that's fine. I'm not one of those. You never put ketchup on a hot dog. Were you 5? Like, who cares? It's American, man. Put whatever you want on your hot dog. Put Lucky Charms on a hot dog. I don't care, right? And then, like the hot dog, either grilled or if you're doing it on a flat top, just get that nice little, almost like crunchy texture on the outside. It's great. Or what they do in, I think it's New Jersey, where they actually just toss them. They toss them in the deep fryer. They call them rippers because obviously they rip open, but it gives you that crunchy exterior. It's just something great about it. There you go. Next up is John Giggins. Also, our Australian rugby just announced they're going to restart May 28th. Very good sign. NFL is going to go ahead. I feel like around the world, obviously people are trying to be optimistic. Like the Chinese basketball league, like tried to restart, and then they're like, no, we can't do that. And like Japanese baseball tried to restart, and then they're like, nah, can't do that. So I think right now everything's extremely fluid. You don't really know. But yeah, if leagues around the world, especially in hotspots, do start up before late summer, I think that could be a good sign. Foreign Savage 87. Kirk Cousins reminds me of dal. By itself, it's awful, but when you surround it with the right ingredients, it's capable of being great. So I believe Foreign Savage 87 is from India, and I think dal is soup. Is it like bean soup? It's possible. What day are we going to do the mock draft video? I don't know. I keep putting it off. Maybe we'll do it in June. Lime Craze. How would you feel if the Vikings drafted Chase Claypool? Well, if they drafted him as their second receiver, like second receiver in the draft, I would be perfectly fine with it. Like, so say they get Mims or Higgins or Jalen Reagor early on, and then they circle around, get Claypool, top of the third, late second, do whatever they want to do there. I would be fine. I think Claypool does need some time to, as I burp, develop and marinate a little bit. I don't think Notre Dame used all of his skills necessarily. But also, I am concerned that he's going to be like a Stephen Hill coming out of Georgia Tech, where it's like he's going to be Megatron 2. And, of course, they didn't utilize him because it's a run-first offense. And also, he had all physical tools. He's a big combine freak as well. Jets drafted him, and he didn't pan out. So I'm more concerned that Claypool, with all these physical skills, probably should have panned out a little bit more at Notre Dame, more than he did. So... But, yeah, if you want a guy who can come in, contribute right away, it ain't Claypool, right? Also, so I want to look. Sports reference, Charles. No. Nah. I almost looked up Charles Johnson. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Grand Valley State, rise up. All right, so Calvin Johnson's collegiate stats were relatively pedestrian. Like, you're looking at a guy who put up 76, 1202, and 15, and he ends up going, what was he, the number 2 overall pick? Yeah, number 2 overall pick in 07. And it's mainly because Georgia Tech was such a run-heavy offense, and it was just so insane to me. Like, how do you not adjust your offense because you have freaking Megatron in college, right? And of course, Calvin Johnson could have gone anywhere he wanted to. He went to Georgia Tech because it's a great academic school, and he's like, all right, yeah. So the true freshman who put up 7 touchdowns. Yeah, let's not adjust our offense at all. Let's keep having Reggie Ball throw him the rock, right? In terms of the gap between, that's not what I want. In terms of the gap of great college receivers versus bad college quarterbacks, I think Reggie Ball, by the way, look at Reggie Ball's completion percentage, 44%, right? So it's almost like a travesty of collegiate football proportions that Georgia Tech could not recruit a decent quarterback to play with Calvin Johnson. Right? That wasn't part of the sales pitch, right? I mean, when your starting quarterback completes 44% 0.4% of his passes. What is happening? And also, take this quarterback rating with a grain of salt, because college quarterback rating is on like a scale of 300, not 158.3. So get out of here. Yeah, but Reggie Ball, dual threat quarterback or whatever. So we could go down the rabbit hole all day. Like, I think it's like Rod Rutherford throwing to Larry Fitzgerald the Pitt. That's another big gapper as well. What was the question? Oh, Claypool. Yeah, that is my answer to that. Reggie Ball is bad. Isaac Ruprecht. I would compare Kirk to Tater Dot. Hot dish, not great, but gets the job done and fills you up. Yes, if it's $30. Chris Razel. What's your favorite part about living in Minnesota, other than the Vikings, of course? Minnesota summer is phenomenal. Same thing with fall. Same thing with part of spring. Winter is bad, but also it's it is what it is. Do you like the cost of living? Do you like since I'm a parent, you have to look at the schools now. So I think a lot of the school systems in the suburbs around the Twin Cities are really great. Let's see what else here. Let's say cost of living. Yeah, cost of living is like, all right. So we've been doing a lot of trips to LA. Well, before the Rona, and if you look at like places like Long Beach, like nicer part of Long Beach, right near the beach, you get like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square feet. It costs as much as one of the most expensive places in Wayzata. It's like, okay. Is this really a $1.2 million house? Probably not, but also, if you had to compare Kirk to food, it'd be Cold Stone ice cream. Sounds like a good idea at first, but the more you eat, the more painful it gets. Yeah, all ice cream is good, but maybe a little bit more show, since part of the Cold Stone appeal is like, oh, they're rolling it. Oh, look at that. So that's Kirk. Abs Abdi. When it comes to making deals to get players, draft picks, who should be the first team Rick calls to? Colts. Yeah, Colts 22. If they want to come up and get Jordan Love, give us 34 and 44. Yeah, your 2 second rounders. Kirk is like souffle. Even the less pressure flattens it. That's pretty funny. It's actually a good one. John Giggins. Giggity. Kirk Cousins. It's like ordering a nice steak in an expensive restaurant. It is a great steak, but everyone critiques it for not being worth what you pay. It's Skull from Australia. That's true to agree. So I feel like, learning how to cook, learning how to grill steak properly, it will ruin steakhouses for you. Now, yeah, steakhouses, high-end, phenomenal, like Manny's, Murray's here in the Twin Cities. Ruth's Chris, great for a national chain. Pittsburgh Blues, really good too. Yeah, it's great. Like, don't get me wrong. They got the dry aged beef, some of that you generally don't do at home. Dry aged, they got the rubs. They got all these, great sauces too, even though a great steak doesn't need sauce, whatever. Although I will say, like a steak au poivre with just like a little bit of bechamel, or what's underrated, steak and holidays, but that might just be the fat kid in me. Don't really care. But if you learn how to properly cook, properly rest a steak, I mean, it'll ruin steakhouses for you, right? So you can get pick up like a nice USDA prime. I was gonna say pork, but just say a ribeye, just for ease. You can grab that for 15, 16, 17 bucks a pound, right? So $20 for a nice over a pound steak, right? Where if you went to a steakhouse, that would be $70, $80, etc. So it's like, all right, so I figure I know how to cook this. Heat is gonna be your friend. Colors, flavor there. I feel like the one thing that people do wrong with steaks is that they don't cook it at a high enough temperature. That's why you see like professional steakhouses, they have those broilers, they have those salamanders that get up to like insane temperatures, right? We're talking about multiple hundreds, even thousands of degrees. So get in there. So that is all. That's my opinion on that. Zach Hazlius, if you had to currently sign one of the following to a 4-year contract to be quarterback of your team, who would it be? Kaepernick, Eli, McCown, or Bortles? All right, so Kaepernick, obviously with everything that comes with him, even though I don't think he would be as big of a distraction as some of the owners make it out to be, but of course it's their decision. But also, I think what makes Kaepernick is that he benefits from being a martyr. Like, honestly, if he came back to the league and was marginal, as like his complete angle just completely evaporates, right? Also, if you look at Colin Kaepernick now, he is not in game shape at all. Like, he is like maybe like 170 pounds. like soaking wet, right? Eli's dead. Josh McCown could actually still play. Like, if I had to pick between Eli and Josh McCown, I would pick McCown. I would pick Bortles just for the LOLs because Blake Bortles is the biggest. Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, if we can still say that in 2020. But in terms of, he's 6'5", he's 230, he's got the big arm, all that stuff. But his decision making, his accuracy, just leads to hilarity. By the way, Blake Bortles was one bad call away from playing in the Super Bowl. By the way, Miles Jack was not down. What? Just a mad. So Blake Bortles last year. No, so he's not with the Rams anymore, right? They didn't resign him. But say Jared Goff went down, Blake Bortles with Sean McVay. Sean McVay is able to mind meld with Blake Bortles and turns him into a Super Bowl winning quarterback. How hilarious would that be? Just amazing. Corey Chris, shout out from Floodwood, Minnesota. What's going on? Let's see what else is going on here. Michael Skoll, going to my first Vikings game this year, looking for recommendations, make a day trip out of it. From upstate New York, what's good? Seats, food must be. Okay. So something I would suggest to people coming in from out of town. Yes, go see the mall. It's kind of a big deal. Although crowds may not be a big thing. Although you are going to a football game. I would say stay somewhere near Nicolay Mall. It's a couple blocks from the stadium. It's easy walking distance. Got lots to do down there. The Local, probably one of my favorite bars in cities. It's down there. See so we gotta look it up. All right, so yeah, all the steakhouses are down there. Twins. Also, I would suggest people should get on the train in between. So it goes from like the Capitol in St. Paul all the way to Target Field, and just stop at every stop and just get out and stretch your legs a little bit. And, there's plenty of bars, plenty of restaurants around everywhere, so just go out and win the day. All right, so pulling up the map here. All right, yeah, so there's Nicolay Mall up there. So, I mean, there's plenty to go. Because I remember that this Nicolay Mall was really big in terms of here we go. All right, so the newsroom, the Locals down in here as well. What's that Irish bar? Brits. Irish pub. Yeah, so stay somewhere near Nicolay Mall. There's always tons of stuff to go see. It's within walking distance of the stadium, so go do that up. It's good times. See, next up is Dakota Cochran. Kirk's like a crunch wrap from Taco Bell that you're familiar with. It's like when you are at Taco Bell near your house, it's great, it's consistent, you know what you're gonna get. But when you get from Taco Bell, if you get it from Taco Bell far away, it's a gamble. That's fair. Ryan O'Sullivan. I thought you were going to say Taco Bell, it's a bit of a gamble because you don't know how that's going to infect all the intestines a little bit later on. Because Kirk Cousins, it's an allegory. Like Kirk will definitely poop himself in some big games. So maybe that's it. Ryan O'Sullivan. I compare Kirk to gas station sushi. At occasional time, it'd be good and you'll be pleased, but every now and then it'll be awful and you never want anything to do with it. That's fine. Plus, gas station sushi probably be like $12. So that's fair. Pulford Skull. Would you rather trade a seventh for Matt Breida? I'm assuming he's talking about Matt Breida here. He's probably going to get cut 25. Yeah, Matt Breida. 2, sign Flacco as a backup for $2 million and cut Mannion. Draft whatever products of the future as well. Kirk is like butter, melts under heat and spreads all over. That's funny. Flacco is deceased, so no there. I would be fine with Matt Breida. I do like him. Pride of Georgia Southern, I believe. I think he was after Jerick McKinnon. Pretty sure that's right. But yeah, in terms of a guy who's very familiar with the scheme, obviously Kyle Shanahan, Gary Kubiak, especially that run game outside zone is going to have a lot of crossover. So a guy that is the odd man out because Rostert's really climbing there. McKinnon will finally be back in the mix again. Of course, Tevin Coleman is out there too. So yeah, I would take a shot at Breida. Why not? Bradley Trogdon. How many tackles to guard moves his team trying to son? That's a bad idea. Well, okay. Well, is this a whole? Well, it didn't work out with Mike Remmer, so it's obviously never going to work out again. So I don't agree with that thought process at all. Well, bring up Mike Harrison. Mike Harris was a tackle, moved into guard. He was phenomenal before he had to retire because of those brain issues. So I don't understand or appreciate the whole, well, can't move Reef to guard because Mike Remmers didn't work out, right? Or anything like that. Or what if Oli Udo? What if they kick him into guard? What if he's phenomenal there? So can't move tackle to guard. So just get off the whole. Stop being stuck on the whole. Well, Mike Remmers didn't work out, so you can't move a tackle to guard. Also, if you look at the draft, by the way, like most collegiate tackles that had phenomenal career that don't check the boxes and all the measurables, they always get extra chances because it's like, well, we can just move them to guard. So it's a very common thing in the league. So get over the Remmers thing. Spencer Vox, think of a number, double it, add 6, divide in half, and subtract the number you started with. The answer is 3. Cool. Jacob Slide, Kirk Cousins' wings for 2 reasons. Number 1, you can get absolutely scorching hot wings, or you can get mild wings. This represents Kirk's attitude. I like it. 2, quality wings can be highly variant. Agreed. Sometimes they walk in. Yeah, that's fair. Sparky Finch. Man, maybe we should get Matt Schaub. Sparky Finch. USA Today did a redraft of the 2015 class. Actually, let's look that up. USA Today 2015 class redraft. Yeah, I like the redrafts with complete 2020. 2020 vision. Oh, was this recently? So it might be. All right, so March. Well, let's see if we can get to the mother list from the Panthers one. Oh, no, I'm not clicking on a stupid slideshow. This is 2020, man. We are not doing slideshows today. All right, so Vikings went Hunter. Hunter went first overall. Damn. Who from the 2019 class do you see making a top 32 pick by 03 or 04? Yeah, Irv. Could say Irv in there. All right, so 23, 24. So 5 years from now. I mean, Olabisi Johnson might eventually work his way in there and being just a very solid number 2 receiver. I can see that. Jack Martinson. Where'd you go to college? Winona State. What are your top 5 favorite beers? Let's see here. It always shifts. But like old standbys. Well, I do like Stella Artois. That's a good beer for me. Grain Belt Blue is phenomenal. Indeed Day Tripper. Just keeping the full on local angle. Castle Danger Cream Ale. Really, really good. Hate to say it, but Spotted Cow, like the OG Spotted Cow, is just really, really good. Yingling. If you're able to find Yingling, which you generally can't here in the Midwest, definitely grab some. Let's see here. Man, like, where's another one? Again, just because everything seasonal, everything vacillates, so it does certainly change. But man, that's a good head start. TJ All Day. Why do you hate Imagine Dragons so much? I just don't like bands where every song sounds the same. Again, Imagine Dragons is one of those bands. Like 3 Doors Down is one of those bands. Although AC/DC is also one of those bands, but every single AC/DC song sounds good. Where it's like, and then it's like Angus Young, 4'2". Is Angus Young dead? R.I.P. if so. But Angus Young and like the 4'2" Australians just like on those Gibsons, right? And then Brian Johnson like, yeah, it's exactly true. Every single AC/DC song sounds the same, except that every single one of them is freaking awesome. Every single song you're damn straight. Skull Daddy. Thoughts on DeAndre Francois as a quarterback prospect for the Vikings? And was your fit? All right, so DeAndre Francois. So if you remember the name, Florida State, pretty damn solid as a quarterback. Eventually dismissed from the team by Willie Taggart because some video about potential domestic abuse opened up. I didn't do enough research on it. Did anything come of that? Was there charges? Was there not? I don't know. But yeah, that's, of course, going to be the first major red flag to overcome. I think he ended up at Hampton University, where obviously lower level competition, he was going to dominate there. But I didn't do enough research on him, so I don't really know if his game will translate to the NFL or if he's seen as a day 3 or higher prospect. But also, I mean, say it's right, wrong, or otherwise, you do see guys get second and third chances coming back from stuff like this. I mean, Joe Mixon is the obvious one. I mean, video of him knocking out a complete female stranger, and he still went 41st. Jameis Winston, speaking of Florida State quarterbacks, obviously came in with a ton of baggage, still went number 1 overall. Justin Simmons, 18, because people forget Justin Simmons coming into college. There's video of him. Yeah, again, there's always a difference with video, right? Of him knocking out a female in a parking lot. Because the female was fighting with his sister, so was it one of those quasi self-defense things? Whatever. He still went 18 to the Titans last year. Tyreek Hill, obviously that's a big one too. So I don't know, like a team, if Francois is deemed to having NFL talent, a team will take a shot on him. Is it going to be the Vikings? And the Wilfs have generally shied away from the Wilfs, and Spielman have generally shied away from character red flag guys. So I don't know. What is your favorite rub for ribs or brisket? So for me, brisket, it's just salt and pepper, like going full Central Texas style. Ribs, I do like the Memphis dry rib. Just very simple, salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, and just keep it very basic. JDM 28. If we don't draft Denzel Mims, I'm going to lose it. Well, he's a legit Vikings fan. I don't want this to turn into a enhanced version of Moritz Jerome Beringer. It's fine. Like I don't think he's a slam dunk prospect. I think he's fine value at the end of the first round. I don't think they should draft him just because he's a Vikings fan. Brendan Moger, number 1. Could you see Spielman dipping into next year's draft picks to move up given the pressure on the front office to hit in his draft class? Extra third, projected comp, 4th digs, blah, blah, blah. Maybe is a spot where you do package like future third, future 4th, try and get back into the second round this year. Maybe. Like we said, so it's possible. I think it's more likely that they trade down from the first to acquire those early day 2 picks as opposed to using future picks, or potentially take a spot where you take one of those first round picks, you pick up a team's second rounder this year, and you pick up a team's second rounder next year, or future second and some change. Could be seeing something like that. Who do you think could fall to the Vikings at 22 from the teens? Henderson, CJ Henderson. I don't see Kinlaw falling necessarily, but teams may shy away because maybe there are some potential character concerns with Kinlaw, or actually more work ethic concerns, I guess. That'd be more fair way to put it. God, Andrew Thomas one time? No, probably not. Any of the 3 wide receivers I could see potentially falling. BHM, why do you delete old videos? Why do you keep asking that question, man? All right, so we had to clear up some of the catalog because apparently you can't even mention the word sports betting, otherwise you'll get flagged. As well as I didn't want any more hate speech violations. So again, stop asking the freaking questions, man. Salvador Estrada, are you a coach? Or will you be a coach when your kids grow up? Would love to see it. Actually, was a youth football coach for a couple of years. It was really fun before life got way too busy. So eventually, like if my son does want to play football, would love to coach his teams. Or if my daughter gets involved in sports, I can figure out t-ball. I can do that. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a ton of fun. Julian, watching, what content will you make after the draft? Well, we'll do film on some of the draft prospects. We'll talk about guys on the bubble, talk about guys that can rise up, talk about positions. So there's always going to be content. There's always going to be stuff to talk about. Cyberbully123. Have you looked at the NFL City Edition uniforms? Which one do you think is best? We're up against the clock now. We'll do that another time. Blake Robinson. I heard Tua failed too physical so far. If hell freezes over and he falls to 22, do you take him? Well, I don't necessarily believe any reports of so the teams that fail Tua, like if they do exist, they would gain 0 by leaking that information, right? You know what team would gain from leaking information that Tua failed 2 physicals? A team that wants to draft him. So I think that maybe complete poppycock right now. It's like I do have the full conspiracy theory that Spielman leaked the information that teams were out on Teddy because he had skinny knees. Yeah, remember that putting out there? But then maybe that was karmic justice when Teddy's leg seceded from the union. So maybe that's a way for the chickens to come home for roost for Spielman. But yeah, if Tua gets to 22, well, there will be a huge demand for him. Like the Colts, say the Colts cleared Tua medically, all right, and they don't want Tua to get to the Patriots at 23, and they're like, okay, now we're in. Or hell, I would pick it up. Got any lunch recommendations for a place in McAllister Groveland Heights in St. Paul? All right, so St. Paul. So the OG Blue Door is quasi in that area. There's a Greek place that's right off of Snelling that's really good. The name escapes me right now. So check that out. Nelson's Ice Cream is right off of Snelling as you're headed towards McAllister. That's phenomenal. There's a place off of Snelling called Neighborhood Cafe where just a really nice local place. Mom and pop shop. It's good. Also, there's what is that Korean place? We're sort of getting out of the area that you asked about, but North Snelling, headed up towards the State Fair place. There's a really good Korean place around there. The name escapes right now. So there's a couple. There you go. Kai Endall. Name the former Viking who would be the worst brother-in-law. Probably Fred Smoot, right? Or Bryant McKinney, because he'd always be asking to borrow money. Michael Skoll. Coming from upstate New York to the great city of Minnesota. Oh, I already got that from the live chat. Brett G. Buddies and I are doing a full mock draft at the moment, halfway through round 5, 3 weeks in. What do you think of the Vikings picks? So Josh Jones, Christian Fulton, Matabuke, AGG, Robertson, Gibson, Sadiq Charles. So I like Charles as a later round pick. Matabuke, I think, comes in right away and just wrecks fools. It's phenomenal. Josh Jones, I love. Fulton, I love the Fulton and Robertson double team for cornerbacks. I don't like the wide receivers. So AGG and Gibson are both going to be massive projects. And also, if you're trying to get one to contribute right away, I don't think either one is great. But if there's a spot where you got, like, say, Tyler Johnson, or you got like Fuller from Washington a little bit later on, I think that would make more sense. Or like a Prochet in there. So I would take one of the projects, not both of them. That makes sense. So here, a couple more. Draft question from Michael Skoll. What do you think about is going back-to-back in our team? Fulton and Gladney. All right, so Fulton and Gladney, 22-25. Mims Jefferson, 22-25. Much more in on cornerback than the wide receiver. Or Chase and Gallimore. Oh, Chase and Gallimore would be sexy. It really would. Is 25 a little bit too high for Gallimore? Maybe. Or Chase and 22, Jordan Elliott 25. Although that's a little bit cheating because you're putting edge and defensive interior together. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But yeah, I'd much rather they go cornerback over wide receiver. And probably offensive line, considering what would be there at that time. Drew Smith, Andy, no question for me today, but I do have a really bad, not well thought out analogy for Cousins. Kirk Cousins is like McDonald's. If you need something really quick to feed the kids on a weeknight, you can get the job done, but also give you explosive diarrhea. What kind of McDonald's are you eating, man, if you don't limit it? I don't know. Maybe just I have an iron stomach. It's very possible. Ty Smith, what's the origin of you looking through your notes that throw in the notebook? Makes me laugh all the time. I don't know. It's just like one of those throwaway like dad shtick jokes. Kind of stuck. 2, Kirk Cousins like Taco Bell at 2 in the morning. Sometimes really good, but then some days where you regret you have it. Yeah, it's fair. Harvey Melber, thoughts the Vikings consider Eli Apple in 1-year rental? No. Eli Apple is, God honest to truth, one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL. Like, completely bad. Cousins is that new limited time item on the menu where it looks great in the picture. But when you get it, it's subpar, and the meal was saved by your appetizer size beer. Oh, yeah, so what would it be? Oh, it's the ceviche special. Great. Connor Keck. Oh, by the way, never order fish on a Monday at a restaurant. Actually, most restaurants are closed on Monday, so that might be a bad example. Never order the fish on a That's a bad example, too. Yeah, a Sunday or a Tuesday. Yeah, because most restaurants will generally get their fish order in on Fridays. This is, Anthony Bourdain talks about this in his book, but also I've worked at restaurants too, and it's absolutely true. So most restaurants will get fish orders in on Tuesday, start of the new week, because a lot of restaurants are dark on Mondays, as well as Friday, get ready for the weekend. So Tuesday, especially if they run like a Chiapino or some sort of like fish special, don't trust it. Also, Tuesday that you're not getting the, especially for the special, you're not getting the fresh stuff. So yeah, Stanley. Connor Keck, Kirk Cousins is like an avocado. Some people like it, some people hate it. Also, what are the odds someone hacks the NFL on draft day? Yeah, I can see Kirk Cousins being polarizing, and I think 1,000%. Like one of the like big hacker organizations. Like, don't tell me that with no sports, with everyone and their mom watching the NFL draft, that they're not going to break into Dave Gettleman's Zoom. Get out of here. Stanley Moros. Kirk Cousins will be like a vanilla ice cream cone with sprinkles. Safe, solid enough to eat, but also won't knock your socks off. Yeah, that's fine. Ethan Griff of the Fantasy World. Akuda and Andrew Thomas are both there at 22. Who do you pick? I would pick Thomas, because even though I love Jeff Okudah, he's cornerback 1 in this class for me. The fall off between the NFL ready left tackles, between Thomas and whoever else is on the board, like Winogo, Ezra Cleveland, Jackson, even Josh Jones. I mean, I think that's a pretty big drop off, even though I like those guys too, versus Akudah versus the drop off to other cornerbacks. Calling Kurt Toast is spot on. Wonderbread, yeah, I agree. Gamer, how can we delete your older videos? We went over that. How can people ask the questions, man? David Hill. We suspect the Vikings could be considering a shift to a 3-4. Could this potentially open up drafting Terrell Lewis or Anthony Jennings later in the draft? So Lewis Jennings, I do like Jennings from Bama. Also, Kirk Cousins is toast and cheese. You would expect it. So say the Vikings are fully in on a shift to a 3-4. Now, Daniil, I think Daniil certainly has the agility to be not a liability necessarily in coverage. They just haven't asked him to do it. So, but go back and look at his spark scores. I think he'd be certainly fine. So stand up wise, it could lead credence to why you get like a Epinenza, where I do think you could play a 4-5 tech in a 3-4, or a guy like Zach Bond. I think is going to be projected to be like a TJ Watt-ish 3-4 outside linebacker that could make a lot of sense. Jennings makes sense. Terrell Lewis makes sense. A guy like Nick Coe, I think could play from Auburn, could play a 3-4 defensive end. Same thing with James Lynch, where is he an edge? Is he a defensive interior? Well, put him at 3-4 defensive end. He's a little bit of both, right? So I think he'd be fine with that there. Kirk is like toast on cheese. This is just funny to me. Row the skull. A couple more of these will bounce out of here for a day. Roll the skull. Kirk Cousins is any canned veggie. A good, healthy choice on the surface, but you don't take into account the preservatives. Division games last year, they cancel out anything healthy. That's fine. Like canned green beans, like they're coming out like olive drab, like OD green. Big Chogus, 25, and Harris for Browns 10th. Yes or no? I mean, yeah. Is Anthony Harris on a 1-year deal worth 15 draft spots? I mean, maybe. Getting up to 10. I mean, that would give the Vikings a lot of options, and they necessarily wouldn't be giving up a lot too. DG snippets. Cousins is a pocket is like plain chicken breasts. Only way to make it better is beefing it up and seasoning a proper roast. Also, I want the Vikings to have all gold jersey. That would look sexy. It's a little bit too video gamey for me. Ivo Enik. How many do we got left? There we go. Ivo Enik. What would it take to trade up to a sexy spot, say round 2, 35, 45, not giving up any of our first-round picks? Do we have 2/3? Probably both thirds to get towards the top of the second round, or the second and, say, a fourth, or second and both 6, second 4, 6, something like that. Salvador Estrada. Tamales and chili rellenos are the best. Agree. Hayden's Salino hot chicken wings for Kirk Cousins. Maybe. Pulford Skull. What's your biggest move the Vikings will make between now and post-draft? Signing a big free agent, blockbuster trade, draft day excitement. Well, if Trent Williams is going to get traded, it's going to be during the draft. Same thing with Anthony Harris. I think re-signing Everson and also Josh Klein certainly could be in the mix as well. I think Everson, frankly, if he came back and he was like, all right, I'm gonna play the late career Brian Robinson role, would be massively huge for the Vikings. Billy Long is Kirk Cousins' baloney. Yeah. Josh, the show, Cousins like wasabi, nothing special to look at, but it gets hot quick and cools off just as fast. That's fair. Kelvin Taylor, junior edge in 7th round of UDFA. I haven't done a lot of research on him, but I mean, we already have a tall, freaky guy. I mean, we already got